My Little Pony is owned by Hasbro and DXX Media. Please support the official release. Hello YouTube, T-Sparks here. I just wanted to record some thoughts on the latest episode of MLP. I don't know about you guys, but this episode really disappointed me. After what I said in the last video about episode 14, I felt it wasn't right for me to criticize the show like this, but you can't just ignore bad writing like this. I'm sorry, writers, whoever wrote this episode, but this was bad. You made Spike look like a complete jackass. The only part of this episode that was any good was Thorax and Ember. Those two were just fine in this episode, just going along doing their thing. It's nice to know that Thorax is having trouble as the leader of the Changelings. And that even Ember is having trouble as the Dragon Lord. But the concept of this episode was just so pointless. Why exactly was Spike so worried that the dragons and the Changelings were going to start a war? There's absolutely been zero indication in the past, or in this episode alone, that the Changelings and dragons have anything against each other. It's just out of nowhere. Oh, they're gonna fight, they're gonna fight. Why? Because they're in the same location? It doesn't make any sense, especially for the very nature of the show. Friendship is magic. We're supposed to accept our differences and get along. Think the best of people. But they just threw it out all down the garbage chute for this one. Now, I know they're not always going to give me what I want. But I was actually excited when I saw that it was Ember and Thorax going to be in this one. But it's just very disappointing when they spend the previous episode telling us how we're not supposed to criticize them that much. We're supposed to, just enjoy it for the message and let the kids enjoy it. But when the next episode is a mediocre piece of crap, are we supposed to just ignore it and let it go? I don't want to go off the deep end over this episode. I don't hate it. It's pretty good in places. But the way they portrayed Spike here was like, Spike at your service. He's gone further than that now. He should not be so bad. And another good point is, why is Spike the Dragon Ambassador? I know he's the only dragon in Equestria that's friendly to the ponies. But he's too young for this kind of pressure. Number 2 thing I didn't like in this episode was Twilight and Starlight. They were good in parts, but they dumbed them down for this episode. Season 7 Twilight would not look at the situation and say, oh, we'll just keep them apart for a few hours, everything will be fine. That is not Twilight. She's smarter than that. And Starlight alone should have been able to see the situation. She's very good at reading social cues. I guess that's about all I gotta say, is I was just disappointed in this episode. Better routes to go in this one. Just one line would have not fixed the episode, but made it bearable. How about when Spike realizes that Thorax and Ember are coming the same day, Twilight says something like, well, the dragons and the Changelings have had animosity for years. They've had a problem with the former Dragon Lord, and it might cause tensions. That's all it would have took. But for this, we have absolutely no reason to think there'd be an issue between these two. After episode 14, I felt like it wasn't really my place to point out problems in the show. I thought I should just sit back and be quiet. But after seeing some reviews of episode 14 that I don't necessarily agree with, but I do understand what he was saying. This was a poke at the fandom for the outrageous views, but in a way it was also kind of a whining by the staff. I understand people shouldn't harass the staff, threaten them, and be crazy idiots. But at the same time, this is a public show. It's on TV where anyone can see it. It's on the internet. You gotta know that just by being involved in it means you agree to some criticism. Heck, even my videos are criticized here and there. No one's left me horrible comments yet, but I've started to get a few downvotes, so I understand how hard it is to accept criticism. I'm getting off topic here. Anyway, this episode was a real downgrade for me on this season. It's number 3 on my worst episodes of season. I'm going to be releasing a video soon on Honest Apple, which I was going to postpone after episode 14, but I think I might put it out anyway. Anyway, there is some good parts of this episode I really liked. The animation was great as ever, and I loved seeing Ember and Thorax again. Those two interacting was great. So this is just me rambling about something I didn't like. So go ahead and feel free to vote it down if you want. So please support the future release. Bye all.